My name is Pawel. I am the UK economist at the job site Indeed. As we wait for the slides to come up, I'll tell you what I'll be talking about today. I'll be talking about a question that actually worries a lot of people in this era of automation and global competition that Jill talked about earlier, which is, what do people do when their jobs disappear? And that's a question that, hopefully we can get the slides now, yep. That's a question that we're seeing more and more often as we see headlines about large employers like British Steel, Thomas Cook, major retailers in the UK struggling to compete in today's market and putting thousands of jobs at risk. But also, as we look farther out into the future, a future that's driven by technological change, it's easy to foresee that trends like automation will fundamentally change the nature of jobs in these traditional sectors, like manufacturing, like retail, even at businesses that survive. And that raises the question of what is the future of today's worker, and what kinds of job opportunities do they face as they go through this period of change and as their jobs disappear or evolve over time. So in today's presentation, I will look at a case study of British Steel, a company that went insolvent in May of this year. And I will use data from Indeed to show you how employees reacted to this uncertainty and to this fact that their jobs were potentially being lost. And I will use data on online job search to show you what kinds of jobs those people were searching for, where they were searching, and what kinds of opportunities they were actually met with in the markets where they were searching for jobs. And I hope that this presentation can inspire you and also start to get you thinking about how this type of data can be used to design or support real policy in areas like skills and training and supporting people through job transitions, both in the short term, but also in the long term as we look over the next decade. So let me tell you about the data a little bit first. Indeed is a global job site, and our mission as a company is to help people get jobs. And we fulfill this mission by offering job seekers a very simple website where people can go on Indeed, they can enter what job they are searching for and where. And when they click on Find Jobs, they get a list of results, which Indeed sources either directly from employers or from elsewhere on the internet. People can also click on specific jobs that they want to learn more about, and in many cases, they can apply to those jobs with the CV that they have uploaded to Indeed. And the reason I'm walking you through our website and how it works is because this website generates a lot of data on job search activity. So we gather information like the search keywords, so what jobs people are looking for and where. Also information about the results that they see, the jobs that they click on and apply to, and also a lot of information about the jobs themselves, so the demand side of the labor market. Things like the names of the employers who are recruiting, the titles of jobs they're recruiting for, the locations of those jobs, the characteristics of those jobs, and the offered wage or salary when that's available. And so far this year in the UK, we've collected a massive amount of data on this. So far this year, we've seen 5 million new jobs added to the site. So that gives us a really good idea of the demand side and the jobs that employers are trying to fill. We've had 1 billion separate job searches. So that gives us also a good idea of the supply side or the interest from job seekers and what kinds of jobs people are looking for. And we've also had 4.4 million CVs uploaded or updated to the site. So that tells us a bit more about those actual job seekers, who they are, what kinds of jobs they're working in, and what kinds of past experiences they have. So let me show you how we can use that data to see how the employees of British Steel reacted when their employer got into trouble. The first thing we see is that when a company goes into trouble, people go online to search for jobs. And this chart shows the daily search activity by Indeed users employed by British Steel, indexed to 100 for the first 4 months of the year. And we can see that as British Steel got into trouble in the month of May, search activity really spiked and peaked on the 21st of May, which was the evening before the company went into insolvency. And we can also see in the box that that search activity remained high for some time afterwards. So people continued to search for jobs as discussions about the company's future continued. So what kinds of jobs did these people search for and where? Let's start with the where question. Well, perhaps unsurprisingly, people tend to search for jobs close to where they live, and that was also the case for the employees of British Steel. This map shows the top 15 locations of jobs that people employed by British Steel clicked on during that period that I showed you in the box, so between May and July of 2019. This represents more than half of all the clicks by these employees. And you can see that people looked predominantly close to the main locations that the company has in the UK. So that shows that when we think about people's job transitions, whether it's in the short term like this or perhaps even in the longer term, it's really important to think about the opportunities that people have for new jobs and new careers near to the places where they actually live. And unfortunately, if you look at a lot of these places where there is or was a lot of industry in the UK, the opportunities that are available in terms of jobs don't always match the things that people are interested in or they think they're qualified for. On the left-hand side of this slide, you see the top 10 job titles that the employees of British Steel clicked on. So I call that their interests. Driver is number 1, warehouse worker is number 2. You see some other driving jobs as well, and also some engineering jobs further down the line, like electrical engineer, maintenance engineer, operations manager, electrician. On the right-hand side, you see the opportunities. And these are the top 10 job titles that are available in the top 5 counties where people were searching for jobs. And there is a bit of overlap there. So for example, cleaner is the number 1 job in terms of the number of job postings in those areas. And truck driver is number 2, so a bit of a match. But there are also lots of other positions available that the employees of British Steel don't seem to be clicking on. In particular, there are a lot of service and care jobs, but also some relatively well-paid jobs like registered nurse or chef or teacher. And clearly, people aren't clicking on those jobs because they probably don't have the right qualifications. So to conclude, when jobs disappear, people go online to search for new jobs. And I hope to have shown you that this data on online job search can give us some idea about the types of jobs that people are interested in and qualified for, and how they compare to the opportunities that are available in the area. The online data, of course, isn't perfect. There are a lot of issues involved in working with this type of data. But it is my hope, and the reason why I'm here today, is that I hope that we can use this data and collaborate with people interested in the labor market to better understand how we can use this information to inform policy about skills, training, and the opportunities for people. Thank you.